Okay, so for second page or the next page, I will use this paper as a base, and I will use some of my leftover pieces that I have. So we will create the base. And for the base, we will cut piece at 3 inches by 6.5. We will also cut another piece 1.5 inches, well, maybe 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. So now the piece measuring 6.5 by 3, we will score on 3 sides. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. So we will create a pocket. So let me burnish all those scores. And we will cut at the angle going straight through that joint between the scores, and we will create the angle on both sides. So this will be our pocket right here. Let's glue this. Okay. And this piece we will position on an angle, just like that. So for this piece, I will mark the way I want this to be positioned, just like that. I will mark with the pencil where I want the scores to be. So now, when you look at your pencil mark, which is right here and right here, position it on your board and score it from one side to another, just like that. We got our fold. And now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. And I see my pencil mark is really light. It's right here and right here. So as I'm positioning this, you can see it, it's going to go from here all the way down. So that's exactly where I'm going to score, right here. And we fold this over. So now, to double check if all our scores are right, I'm going to position the way I want this to be glued, and I like it. So now, from the score, we're gonna cut off or cut out the 1/2 inch right here. And the same thing on the opposite side. So I'm lining up the score with my board, and then I'm cutting about 1/2 inch, just like that. So now when you fold it over, you can see that this is sticking out right here. I am just gonna take my knife and cut it. You can cut it with the scissors, just straight down to match the other piece, the front, the top piece. And we got our piece done. But before we do anything, we're gonna use this as a template to cut our decorational paper on the top. So this piece measures 1.5 inches. So let's see, I think we can use this even on an angle. That should be okay. So I am just gonna cut out 1 inch, and I think I want a little bit more color, so just like that. And now when you position this right here, you can see where your angle should be. So you can line it up and we will cut that angle. Just like that. So now when you position it, you can see that your angles will be just perfect. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Right here. And that's how we will place this. So now we can glue this piece. Okay. And now we can position it and glue it the way we like. I'm gonna glue it just like that. Okay, let's make sure it adheres. And now we will decorate the bottom portion. So the bottom portion measures 2.5 by 5.5. So let's see, we need 5.25. That was 2.5. So 2.25. Now again, if you would position glue only on 3 sides, you could create another pocket. Okay. So now you have additional space in here, maybe for a little note, little something you want to put it down. And that would be perfectly fine. So now we will work on this side, and I still have some of my paper left. So I want to keep this similar to this one, so at least everything is kind of coordinated. So these are the papers I got left, and I will use this again as my base. So we will make bottom pocket. So I'm gonna cut this down to 3 inches and 6.5. And I will cut another piece to 3.5, 3.25. And right now I'm gonna leave it. So now the 3 inch by 6.5, we will also score on 3 sides. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. And we will make another pocket. Just like that. We will also cut all the way through that corner and a little angle at the edges. Okay, let's glue this right here. Just like that. And over here on the top, we will create a window. So for the window, I do want to use this as a base, but this is not enough to close it and create that window. You're going to have a too big of an opening. So I will combine both. So I want the window to be 5.5 inches wide. So I will pre-cut this paper to 5.5. So that will be the base for the window. The window itself, it will be this. So we need to pre-cut this sheet. We need 2 window panels. And we're gonna cut it to 3.25. And one more 3.25. And we will score both sides. So this is the 3.25 inch dimension. We're gonna score at 1/2 inch. We will fold this over and we will glue it just like that into the base. But before we do that, I want to trim those angles. I don't want to see them. And we will glue this just like that on both sides. And it's a good idea to try them first to make sure that your panels will open and close nicely, and this will. So let's apply the glue. And we will glue it. As I'm gluing, I'm trying to match up the front to make sure that it's nice and even. And we do the same thing to the other side. Okay. And here is our window. Now we need to decorate this window. Also, we could round up the corners, even just a little bit, just so they are not that sharp. And now we can decorate this. So I will use the leftover paper that I have. And we need to cut this to 2.5 by 3.5. Okay, so this is the straight edge. So 3.5 by 2.5, and we need 2 pieces. Okay, so we will cover the window, and we need to round the corners just to match our base. Okay, now our piece is ready. And we can position it just like that. Okay, here is our window. It looks very plain, but we will do something about it. So now we have this side to decorate, and we have leftover the same paper as we have in here. So I am gonna create little pocket in here, and it will be angle pocket. So this is 2.5. So we will cut 2.5 inches, and we will cut it at 2.25. So what I want to do is create little pocket right in here, so you can slide something in addition to the pocket you have right there. So for the angle, I am gonna cut this down, and I want this pocket to be just a little bit longer. So I'm gonna cut it maybe all the way to here. So I'm gonna leave 1 inch on the top and cut it angle, maybe just like that. Okay, just like this. But to decorate this a little bit more, I have some of the paper left, which I will position and glue it. Kind of like this. But before I do that, I want to create this really pretty border. And it didn't come out right. But that's okay. I got this left. So I can create in here. Okay, this will work. I will trim this. To make it pretty. And this is too long, so I will cut this down a little bit. Okay. So this will be the additional packet. But before we do anything, I want to put little decoration right here to kind of match this up. So I will run the glue on an angle. And glue this right here. And now we can trim off whatever we don't want. There you go. So now I am going to position glue only on those two sides. Right here. Just like that. And you have nice little packet. So on the inside, I do want to decorate, but I think we need to create a little border, maybe in here, and I still have this left. So as you can see, I'm using as many leftover pieces as I have. So I'm going to measure from one corner to another, which is 5.5, and I am going to trim this piece to 5.5 inches. And I am going to create that border. Okay. The way it came out a little bit shorter, but that's okay. I will just trim this. Trim this off. Just a little bit on both sides. And now I don't want such a deep pocket. I'm gonna make it only about 1 inch. And I will place it right here. Now for this one, I am not gonna apply the glue on 3 sides. I'm gonna apply the glue only on the bottom. And position it. I'm gonna try to position right on the middle. Just like that. So you can put something right in here. And those two sides, I am gonna apply lighter color, just like this. I don't have any more left, but that's okay. I will look in my leftover pieces, and I think this one with the little pink, little purple, I think this will match, and this is what I'm gonna use. So now we will need to cut 2 pieces at 2.5 by 3.5. So 3.5 by 2.5. Oops. All right. So now I have to match up the corners on both sides. Okay. All right. So we can glue it right here. And I am gonna glue only 3 sides. So you got additional opening right here. And I will do the same on this side. Okay. So here is our window. When you place something larger in here, the window is gonna stay closed. And we will make some additional little cards, different things to put it in here. So as you can see, so far we have 2 pages done and those 2 pages done. Now we will put additional things in here, but I think we will leave this for later on after we complete all of our pages.